Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Speed, and quickly today I want to go over a concept that I don't think I've covered in the past. Maybe I have briefly. I'm sure it's come up at some point, but basically I just want to briefly talk about forcing BKBs and the importance of this concept. So when you're playing a hero like Zeus or you have a team comp that has long range abilities, this is a bit niche, so keep this in mind. This isn't something that necessarily applies to every game. It kind of does if there's BKBs, but basically just hear me out. So in this game in particular, the main hero I want to focus on is Bloodseeker. So Bloodseeker is a hero that really relies on BKB to function. The reason why is because he doesn't have any like anti-kite ability. And that sounds weird because it's like, oh, there's Rupture. Yeah, but you still have to run in and click people when you Rupture. Even if you Bloodrite them, you still got to run in and click, right? A lot of carries kind of have the ability to go in and out very quickly and burst. Bloodseeker, he doesn't have that. There's a couple of other heroes that are like this. For instance, something like Troll Warlord really doesn't like getting his BKB forced early into a fight. Someone like Slark, if the bad Slark game, you know, in general, if there's a BKB buyer, you want to force it. But in this game, we have a very prevalent example in the Bloodseeker, as this hero desperately needs his BKB. So I want to show you this clip here. This is kind of interesting. We're playing Zeus. We're looking for the top side. They currently have Aegis, but instead of backing off immediately, what I'm looking to do here is actually force this guy's BKB. So I didn't know he had Lincolns at the time. You can see I pop it, and then immediately what we're looking to do here is actually not back off. So he's feeling pretty confident. He has an Aegis, but I know that I have a long-range techie sticky bomb, a Veil, a Roar if needed, and Hawk Vision to protect me, as well as a potential Overgrowth if needed. On top of that, there's even a Shard Blast off. So I know I'm in a pretty safe position to be here. I also have Heavenly Jump to get away. So what we look to do here is go with the Blast off and try to force his BKB. Now, I should have ultied a little bit earlier just to burn his Aegis, but look at what happens. This is now a nerfed BKB cooldown. That is 90 seconds where this Aegis is completely useless. And that's key. You might be like, oh, but you used Thunder God's Wrath. Doesn't matter. I'm happy to trade a Thunder God's Wrath 26 minutes into the game for a Bloodseeker BKB. Now let's get into a slightly better example. Not that that one was bad, but it wasn't necessarily exactly what I would look for as like the best example. So as we skip a little bit ahead here, okay, so the enemy team is going to invade us in a moment here, and we're going to have a ward on them. Or is it a Hawk? We have something on them in a moment. I think it's a Hawk. Yeah, so Beastmaster, being the psycho hero that he is, just can give me vision. And the key here is to understand that, look at my perspective, right? I see this Bloodseeker momentarily. This is later into the game. He has no Aegis. It's an even game. I understand that the two main things that I need to do in these team fights is force Bloodseeker BKB and force Kunkka BKB. That is my main job. The earlier I force those, the earlier my Pudge carry comes online, and I can do damage as well. So if I'm able to force that and initiate a fight by popping someone's BKB or making them panic, that is huge. These replays are so bugged. But as you'll see here, Bloodseeker walks by momentarily. He thinks we have no vision on him. A little bit of a Beastmaster advantage here, to be fair. But either way, you can see I'm pinging. I'm like, force this guy's BKB. I missed the Nimbus because I am a low skill. Don't look at that. But immediately, look at this. I have no problem just dropping my ult. And this might seem weird. It's like, why would you drop your ult? He's not low. Isn't it the KS ability? No, it's not, right? In fact, Zeus ulti early into fights is actually way better than later into fights. Because number one, it does percentage-based damage with the shard, it does 9% of their current health, and it makes people panic on the BKBs. You give vision of the entirety of the enemy team if they're not smoked, so it cancels blinks, which keeps you safe, prevents initiations, and gives your team vision. So Zeus ulting early into the fight is freaking massive, and I'm able to force this Bloodseeker's BKB. From his perspective, he doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't want to get roared. I popped his Lincolns, right? He doesn't want to get roared and jumped by Pudge and die. So he has to BKB. He doesn't see anything. He's like, shit. If I get roared here without BKB, I'm dead. But instead, he gets roared with BKB, which frankly isn't that much better because now he gets Overgrowth. And yeah, as you can see, look at the Kunkka's HP. He doesn't want a BKB either. And this is the power of Zeus and these long-range poke team comps. You know, there are a lot of other examples of how you can abuse this. For instance, let's say you have an Ember Spirit and a Mirana on your team. Instead of just remnanting into the fight, you can communicate with your Mirana, say, I'm going to chain this guy. Even if they have a BKB, people will just like ignore them because they're like, oh, we can't kill him. What you should do is chain them, throw an arrow at them. If it hits them, you go. If it doesn't and they BKB, you back off, you reset. Obviously, it requires a bit of coordination. It kind of requires your team to be on the same page. But even if, like, let's say your team isn't on the same page, you can still apply this easily because, well, it could just be a side lane pickoff. For instance, we saw it earlier. All that was needed to force the original BKB from the Bloodseeker was me and Techies. It's only 2 people, right? And so you can see this team fight completely favorable. The Bloodseeker tries to go in, but he has to run away. Viper gets isolated on the side. Kunkka has to disengage because he just understands that he can't go in without BKB. And it's this extremely favorable fight for us. So yeah, that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a couple things here. This was like a really short thing I wanted to cover, so I'm like, I don't think I want to post this on gameleap necessarily. So I'll post it on the second channel here. I feel like it's a good fit. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace!